Hello everyone, I'm John Garner, and today we're diving into VantagePoint version 17. Our theme is simple: power up your analysis. This release is all about giving you more control, speed, and clarity in your data workflows. What's new? You spoke and we listened. VantagePoint version 17 brings new visuals, workflow enhancements, and higher processing speeds. In the Report tab, we've added an all-new radar chart, updated world map to include an animated timeline, and enhanced bubble chart. In Refine, we have smarter text extraction, an optimized Thesaurus Engine, and sharper NLP. In Analyze, there's a new copy sheet script and a faster concept grid. Let's start with reporting. VantagePoint makes it easier than ever to communicate insights visually. First up, the radar chart. It's perfect for comparing products, teams, or individuals across multiple performance areas. You can spot strengths, gaps, and opportunities at a glance. Let's look at how the radar chart helps us tell a story. Suppose we want to answer the question, who are the impactful players in this space? For this example, I pulled a dataset from PubMed on smartwatches and enhanced that with OpenAlex API. Focusing here on three key fields: cited by count, how often the work is referenced by others; reference count, the breadth of sources each work draws on; and field-weighted citation index, a normalized measure of impact across disciplines. Using the Report Radar Chart button, we can visualize these dimensions together. This makes it easier to compare organizations or authors side by side and quickly spot who stands out in terms of influence and reach. So switching to VantagePoint, I have my smartwatch dataset loaded. I'm going to the Report tab, clicking the Radar Chart button, and here we select our fields. So here I'm using the affiliation clean field, which is organizations. I've created a group of top 5. I'm going to use that. And then here I select between 3 and 8 fields to represent the axes on the radar chart. So again, I've selected my cited by count, my reference count, and my field-weighted citation index. I'm using averages for all of these. If I wanted to, I could add a field using the Add Field button. If I wanted to go down fields, I can use the minus sign to remove fields. So I'm good with these selections. I'll click Run. So I'll go through and create it. And now I can compare quickly across these 5 organizations who stands out, who needs maybe improvement or is weaker in some areas. And I can see Harvard is very balanced across all 3 of our variables. So they are cited more than normal, and their citation index is higher than, for example, UCLA here, or UC San Francisco. So quickly I can see who stands out. And then again, I can, as with all visualizations, I can click on these to get the specific records associated. So here's my 32 records from Harvard. And then I can open records. I can do detail windows, as with everything, to drill down and get a rich answer on what's going on. Okay. Animated world map timeline. Track publications and patents by country over time. Just click the gear icon, set your year field, and watch the story unfold. So the animated world map timeline answers the question, where is research in this area moving over time? So again, data source is PubMed and the smartwatch file. My fields of interest are affiliation country, so these are the organization's address field. And then date published year. So when are they publishing? So going back into VantagePoint, again under Report, World Map, click that, and it'll automatically create my world map using all of my available country fields. So here I've got my affiliation country, so I can see the overall for the entire data set, who is publishing, and where they're from. If I click the gear icon, I get this year filter. So I can check that box, and then I'll see all of my available year fields. So here I can see date published year. I can run the slider to bring it back manually, so I can slice it any way I want. And this will get all the records up to that year that I'm selecting. Or I can click this play button and it'll automatically loop through all the available years. So again, I can stop it, say, at 2018. I see a spike in the US. I can click those 36 records. And then I see here are the 36 records with US organizations up to 2018. So this will include all the records back to, or from the beginning to up to 2018. Moving on. And then there's Bubble Chart. It's more than bubbles. Now you can switch to pies, bars, or stream graphs for richer visual storytelling to accentuate the data. Bubble Chart can help us answer a question such as, how have the top organizations' research evolved over time? And again, here I'm using PubMed. This is smartwatch data. My fields of interest are affiliations and date published, so my organizations by year. So going back into VantagePoint, I go again to Report, Bubble Chart, and I'm selecting my affiliation field or organizations, top 5, and date published year. So organizations over time. Click Run. So each bubble represents an organization position by year. So UCLA in 2015, these 2 records. Bubble size shows publication volume. Bigger equals more publications. This view highlights growth trends and emerging players in smartwatch research. Use the gear icon to switch between bubble, bar, or stream. Different views highlight different insights. Bubbles show relative size and growth. Bars emphasize year-over-year comparisons. And stream graphs reveal trends and shifts over time. And as with any VantagePoint visualization, I can click on a specific thing. So here I can click on Stanford 2020 and I can get the 4 records associated with that organization and time period. And then I can also come in here and show record counts so I can get the concrete data. Okay. Moving on to Refine. This is where you can clean and structure your data, and we've made it smarter and faster. Smarter text extraction with a new custom parser. This lets you extract structured data using any delimiter, commas, pipes, or even custom characters. Perfect for turning messy text into clean, usable data. So in this example, again, I'm using smartwatch data from PubMed, and I've got some OpenAlex data that I've added via the API. My field of interest is a reference field that contains some DOI data. It's messy, so I want to clean it up and turn it into a link. I'm going to use the Refine, Further Processing, Read After, Custom command here. So jumping back into VantagePoint, go back to the summary screen here, and I have this reference field here, and as you can see, it looks like any old reference here. It's got a journal, date, and then a DOI that I want to get this code here. So I will right click in the header, go to Further Processing, Read After first, and I'm going to choose Custom. Now normally you might say, oh, I can just read after the colon, but sometimes the data is, there's multiple colons or there's data after. So in this case I'm going to use the custom command. So I've got multiple options here. I'm good with read after first because I want to get this data. I will choose DOI for my delimiter with a colon and a space, so that'll give me all of this data. And I can give it its own field name. So here I'll do reference DOI so I can find it. Click OK. And then here is my DOI number. Going a step further to turn this into a link. Further processing on this field. Again, right-clicking on the header. Create link from DOI number to DOI link. Here I will give it a name. Reference DOI link. Click OK. And now I have some DOI links here that I can click to open up in a browser. And then I get the full context of the record here. And these would apply to any record here that's been linked. So that's one way to enrich your analysis. We've also streamlined thesaurus merging. You can now flag changes or revert to the original with ease. So the common workflow here is I'm doing a list cleanup with an existing thesaurus that I've created over the years. I do my list cleanup, combine sets as I normally would, but then I want to save those new changes into my thesaurus. So I may save a thesaurus and select my thesaurus that goes in. This will result in a merge, and I may have items that get matched into multiple. Maybe that's okay, but maybe I want to specify which one we keep it in. In some cases, you always want to revert back to what was in the thesaurus as the standard, or maybe the new matches are correct and you want to keep only those, so you'd select keep sets from cleanup. And if you wanted to revert back to your original, keep the source sets. So just a quicker way to make those decisions. Finally, let's talk about Analyze, where insights come to life. The new copy sheet script saves time by duplicating your workbook without rebuilding it from scratch. Great for replicating current analyses within refined sub-dataset. Example use cases are I've sliced the data into chunks by time, location, or organization, and then I want to duplicate my sheets into that new data set. Or I've messed up a cleaning step, such as removing duplicate records, and I want to run that cleanup and then duplicate my browser or lists or whatever in my new data set. So here in VantagePoint, say I want to slice this into a specific country publication, so give me all the records that are published in Canadian journals. I can select Canada here, Control N to bring up this dialog, or refine, create subdataset. I want to do it on this selection. Click OK. This will create a new data set based on just Canadian journals. So now I've created my subdata set of Canadian records. So now I go into Analyze, run a script, copy sheets. This will open up this dialog here that will let me pick which file to copy sheets from. So here I'm going PubMed Smartwatch, and then I want those to go into my new file. In some cases, a field may be missing, so these reference DOI links don't exist because the Canadian journals didn't have those. But I can pick and choose which fields or which sheets I want to bring over. From this example, I'm just going to do world map to save time. But copy sheets will then run through, replicate my sheets, and now give me a report here, world map was copied successfully. So then I go back into my subdata set, and here my world map exists. So this is a quick way to, within seconds after you've created a subdata set, to copy everything over with the same visualizations, and then you're ready for further analysis. Additional enhancements, record classifications. We've refined record classifications for a cleaner, more readable layout. This will match the layout when you initially set up your categories and subcategories, so you get that nice indentation, so you can easily see cardiac monitoring is a category under smartwatch function, but then arrhythmia detection is a subcategory under cardiac monitoring. So a nice, easier way to read your your categories and subcategories. Behind the scenes, we've turbocharged performance, faster, cleaner NLP and refined NLP with improved thesauri, speed boost for concept grid with saved progress states, a more powerful Thesaurus Engine for import and cleanup tasks. Finally, if you're curious about what is coming next, here's a sneak peek at Vantage in AI, bringing the power of generative AI into VantagePoint. This new feature will let you interact with your data in a whole new way. For more details, visit thevantagepoint.com and contact us for more information. Want to learn more? Check out our VantagePoint channel on YouTube. It's at VantagePoint. And follow us on LinkedIn at Search Technology Inc. Thank you for joining me today. VantagePoint is all about helping you discover more on your terms. Let's power up your analysis together.